The Rebbe taught us that every person needs to have a Mashpia. What questions are appropriate for a Mashpia, and what questions should be asked of a therapist?
So just to understand first the whole idea of Mashpia, because there's another thing first, is that a lot of people confuse Mashpia with therapist in general. Sometimes people think that a Mashpia is a good psychologist, and or a free psychologist at times. A Mashpia is not just a psychologist. A Mashpia is something much deeper than that. And then when we understand what a Mashpia and what's special about a Mashpia, we can go on to this question. When the Rebbe said, ask a Mashpia, it's not just that the Rebbe is giving us a good advice, and Eitzah Tova, have a Mashpia and ask your Mashpia what to do. When the Rebbe says, ask a Mashpia, the Rebbe is actually giving a Nesinas Koyach. He's giving the strength and the power that what the Mashpia says is the Rebbe's answer. And that's something very important to remember. It doesn't mean the Mashpia is a Navi. It doesn't mean the Mashpia knows everything. And yet at times when you ask your Mashpia and suddenly the right idea pops into the Mashpia's head because he knows because you went with that bittul. In fact, Mashpia isn't the only time. There are certain times, for example, that the Rebbe said, ask 3 good friends, 3 yedidim mevinim, 3 friends that understand and that know the answer. Or when the Rebbe would say by a medical issue, you should ask a roife yedid, a doctor who's a friend, or 3 doctors. Chua b'roiv yoyetz, when it's a business question, etc., etc. It's not good advice that the Rebbe is telling us what to do if you can't ask the Rebbe. The Rebbe is telling us what to do when you want to ask the Rebbe. This is how you ask the Rebbe, not because you can't ask the Rebbe. The Rebbe is telling you this is what asking the Rebbe is. The Rebbe's answer will come through this person who's telling you what to do. And you see it clearly, time and time again. A Mashpia says an answer, obviously thought out, coming from whatever aspect that the Mashpia got it from, but the Mashpia doesn't even understand later on when it works out in the miraculous way. He says, how did I do this? And the answer is, you didn't do this. You did what the Rebbe told you to do, and the Rebbe's answer came as a result by asking your Mashpia, because that's what the Rebbe told you to do. Now, based on that, just like the Rebbe tells you at times, ask a doctor, ask a therapist. And once again, when the Rebbe tells you to ask the doctor, ask a therapist, it gets a special koyach because it's not just you're asking the doctor, you're actually fulfilling the Rebbe's Zairah, and that means what the doctor tells you, you're going to be able to get through what the Rebbe tells you, you're having the Rebbe's koyach inside this. And in a similar fashion, your Mashpia at times knows and has to know, this isn't for me, just like a Mashpia is not going to answer you on a medical question. Mashpia can't answer you on a question which is a professional thing. But the Mashpia isn't just saying, I'm moving away, I'm taking my hands off it, I can't answer you on this. The Mashpia is actually telling you, in this I want you to ask the therapist, so then you're asking the therapist is by extension also fulfilling the Rebbe's Zairah and also has the Rebbe's koyach of the Rebbe's answer. Which basically means for a chassid, and in general, for a Jew, everything we do is decided by Hashem. Hashem runs the world. He's the one, not just because he's the smartest or he's the best and that's why he can give us the answers. He runs the world. There is nothing that's not coming from Hashem. The Rebbe is the one who gives us over Dvar Havaya, Hashem's word, and therefore there is nothing in a chassid's life that's not coming from the Rebbe. So there's no such a thing as, well, this I'm not going to ask my Mashpia because a Mashpia is not qualified to answer, I'll ask the therapist. Rather, there's things that the Mashpia is telling me ask the therapist, and then this is an extension of what the Mashpia told me to do. What the Mashpia is telling me, ask a doctor, ask a Rav, ask a good friend, etc. This is an extension of the answer of the Mashpia, which is actually the Rebbe's answer.